It's the Sean Widmer Podcast. It's a journal by someone that just really doesn't like to write.
We are going to throw it back old school today to the OG reason for the podcast. We're going to talk some sports second half of the podcast today because there's a lot of big sports news this weekend, and I need to talk about it. Today, to kick it off, let's see, we're going to discuss something that's going on in my house that needs to be addressed, and that's going to happen here in just a couple minutes. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. A new week of shows if you listen as they are released. If you just listen whenever, sporadically, I hope you're doing well whenever you're listening to it. We've kicked off February. The sun has shown back up in Lexington, Kentucky. Thank the Lord. I think it touched the 60s this weekend. Felt like a million. It was great. Now, I guess it's supposed to get cold again, but, it changes everything. Changes absolutely everything in your life when the weather gets nice again. It's crazy how that works. Let's dive into some stuff real quick. Where are we at? A quick check-in because the week is going to be a great one. It's a busy week. Again, we're into February. We're out of January. We're getting through to spring, 1 month closer to spring, so that's great. Super Bowl is going to be this weekend. Eagles, Chiefs. I go back and forth who I'm cheering for. I think I'm settling on the Eagles. Andy, shout out to you. By the way, speaking of Andy, shout out to you. I was called out on something last night by my buddy Dan. I have done a poor job in the month of January of reaching out to the people in my life who I need to talk to. And it was a good, nice call out of like, hey, dude. And so if you're on my list, Drez, Dre, those guys, Jeremy, you're getting one. The calls are happening this week. I've got to get that going. Walter, you're on the radar. Michael, you're on the radar because I need to talk baseball with you. I need to get ready for baseball and more. So it was a nice little call out to the buddies. Be ready. The phones will be ringing at some point this week. The Super Bowl's this week. I'm settling on the Eagles. That's what I'm cheering for. I'm excited for the Super Bowl. I love it. It's one of my favorite events every single year, regardless of the fact that I don't really care for either team, besides the fact that one of my best friends, a couple of my best friends, Darnay as well, cheer for the Eagles. Another one of my best friends, Max, cheers for the Chiefs. So I'm going to have to give him a call this week and let him just rant. The problem is I've gotten too many guys. Max, I'm going to call you out for something. I got too many buddies whose kids play sports that I don't care about their sports. And when I call Max to talk about the Chiefs, he inevitably wants to talk about kids' basketball. I'm sorry, there's a difference between Patrick Mahomes and Juliet, who scored 40 on you. All right, that's just what it is. Sorry, Maxie, but I'd rather talk about Chiefs football with you. I'm going to have to call him and get his take, see if he's nervous at all. Here's my guy, Huck. We're recording early on a Monday. How you doing, big guy? I don't know if that's Huck or Sonic. We've got a major Sonic phase going on in the house right now. We are heavy on Sonic the Hedgehog. I went from never seeing one of the Sonic movies to now knowing every line to all three movies verbatim. If we click play, I can run you through the entire movie. This week, what else this week? Oh, man, for all of you Dungeons & Dragons folks, Monster Manual releases early this week. The last of the 3 core rule books for the new 2024 books. Oh, I think it comes out Tuesday to mom and pop shops. Releases nationally, officially on the 18th. But I think if you are a local game store, you can have it on the shelves on Tuesdays. So if you're in a city where there's a local game store and you're craving your Monster Manual, as you should be, that's this week. Okay, I got to give a shout out to what's going on in my house right now. Besides that, we just go on wagon rides 24/7 now that the sun is out. I need these wagon rides because we've got something. We are living in 2020 in 2025 here at the Widmer house because Elsa is now officially a bread maker. We are deep into the bread making. I think Anna's friend Tristan started us on this and gave Elsa a thing of sourdough starter. I don't know about it. I don't know what it is. We missed that fad in 2020, but we've caught up now. She gave her the sourdough starter, and our house is now a bakery. Every single day, Elsa has got a new kind of bread out and about. And, whoo, man. First of all, it smells like what I assume France smells like in our house. At least that's how France is advertised to me. That's what my house smells like 24/7. There's always a new baked piece of bread in here, and so it just smells amazing. The main floor of our house is spectacular right now. But I'm going to tell you what's very difficult on a growing old body is having constant access to bread. Constant. Trying to figure out what my son is doing. Huck, what are you doing? Okay, he's going to go get hurt with this thing. But this guy's been waking up. I mean, he's been waking up in the 5 a.m. hours. Just down here getting hurt. Why are you up so early today, dude? All right. He found my wife's old what are these balls for? If you're watching on YouTube, the huge balls that I think my wife got because she was told when she was pregnant if she got one and sat on it and bounced on it that our child would be born earlier. I don't remember. Anyways, I don't know what they're actually used for, but we have one. And all my kids do is play with it and fall on it. And it's probably the most deadly toy in my house. We've got some deadly toys, but this one is the one. It's not a toy, but it's the most deadly thing. The amount of accidents with one of these balls is insane. And I know I could probably just say, don't go play on the ball, because it's the move where you run at the ball and you bounce on it, but then you go over the top and get hurt. I don't want to be the dad who stops the fun, though, right? You're going to have to learn the hard way that these are deadly weapons, because I want you to push the limits. It's just these ones. Anyways, where are we at? The bread. So the bread. It's amazing how many different kinds of breads there are. This is what I'm learning about. Noodles and breads. Too many words, too many different words that don't make any sense to me, but we are trying them all. And if I didn't have this wagon that we got for Christmas, I would be hurting, because the weather's gotten nice, and so that means we can get out on walks, which has been great. And it's the only thing right now that's countering the fact that every time I'm in my kitchen, there's either an English muffin, there's a new loaf of sourdough bread, there is piccata, ricotta, patata, flaccata, matata. Everything's a tata at the end of it, I think. And it's just an amazing piece of bread. So I am just nibbling on bread 24/7. A man cannot live on bread alone. I heard that before, but boy, oh boy, I'm trying to prove that theory wrong. Whew. So shout out to the bread makers out there. I now get it, what happened in 2020 with the big rush on sourdough. I get it. But we are going to have to deal with something this week. I don't think Elsa listens to the podcast, so I can talk about it. She got me all excited because she said she's making all this bread. She's going to make pizza this week. I said, that is now what we're talking about. Like, this is where we're going to start cooking. If you're going to start making bread to turn it into crust for pizza, we're really going to be, I mean, we're already at a high level, but that's going to really knock it up a notch. And then she explained the pizza she's going to make, and she said the word that when she said it, I said, I'm out. I'll be ordering Domino's Friday night. Basil. I have to draw the line somewhere with getting cutesy with stuff and all these different French words for the breads that we're eating. It already tiptoes a line, because I'm here in the good old US of A. I like white bread. A loaf of white bread. I don't love venturing into the wheat bread. Get out of here with the bread with all the nuts in it. What is it? The 8-nut bread. I don't know what they're called. Oat bread. Just a loaf of white bread. That's what I want. Okay, plain loaf of white bread. And oh, hey, buddy. And so that's what I want. And we're already kind of pushing the envelope with the sourdough, but I just want it classic. And so now when I hear that we're going to make a pizza, I will fix it in a little bit, dude. When we're going to make a pizza with basil on it and a kind of cheese I didn't understand. Let's just keep it Americanized. All right? That's where I live. That's what I grew up on. I just Americanized. I want marinara sauce, cheese, pepperoni. Anyways, I like to complain. Okay. Can we talk sports? In fact, I feel like the sports are going to be... shout out to bread, though. Shout out to Elsa. Thank you for making our house smell good. Thank you for all the different breads. Thank you for the knowledge that I'm getting. And I get where everyone was in 2020 with the sourdough bread making, because it actually is awesome.
Kelly's, what are you into?
I mean, the amount of distractions at 6:05 a.m. from my son. We will record Kelly's What Are You Into for a second time. Huck had a meltdown. Just an absolute meltdown. Okay. What am I into? Well, it has to do with sports, has to do with basketball. And I was just wildly surprised on Sunday morning when I woke up and had over 100 text messages on my phone, not from 100 people. I had a couple of group threads just blowing up overnight. I was super excited when I woke up to see this. I'm thinking, okay, what am I catching up on? We're going to have high drama in the friend group. Well, it wasn't that. It was the fact that Luka got traded to the Lakers, and everyone was trying to get their reactions and takes out there and opinions, and I was extremely excited because I'm a big Luka fan, and I think his style of play is awesome to me, outside of the fact that I hate that he whines. He whines more than anyone in the NBA right now. It's a huge turnoff. It makes him very difficult to watch. But when he's not doing that, I love his offense. I love how precise he is. I love how he doesn't have to move at the speed of light to make things work. Shout out to De'Aaron Fox, who got traded to the Spurs. He does move at the speed of light. The Spurs are going to be nasty moving forward. That sneakily might be a bigger move than Luka, which is crazy. Luka's a top 5 NBA player, and at the end of Sunday night, there's a move made where De'Aaron Fox goes from the Kings to the Spurs and is going to be on Wemby's team for the foreseeable future. And just in that moment, the Luka trade, it kind of took some air out of it, because Luka's a huge deal, but it's instantaneous in San Antonio. They're immediately better. They're really going to be good. That's wild that they've got that combo of De'Aaron Fox and Wemby. Those two dudes could make some stuff happen in the West. But let's go back to Luka, because I have some opinions on something that aren't really sports related. They kind of are. But I don't know how true these things are. This is what I want to make sure I bring up. I don't know how true these things are. These are just my opinions, things I think could happen, and I'm very interested in following over the next many years. So Luka goes from the Mavs to the Lakers. It seems like it's a crazy deal. It seems like the Mavericks had no idea what they're doing. Something's going on where Luka made the wrong people mad, or they were just over Luka in Dallas. They trade for Anthony Davis. Sure, the Mavericks, they get a good player for it. In terms of just like, if you tell me the Mavs get Anthony Davis, I'm thinking, wow, that's big time. Problem is, you lose a once in a generation style player with Luka Doncic. Anyways, let's not focus on the actual how this is going to be X's and O's. Something I'm interested in and I want to be watching. Luka Doncic goes from Dallas, which is a huge city in the United States, but it's nowhere near where he went. He's going to LA. And Luka Doncic, one of the big complaints that you kind of have had float around over the last couple months, and especially now that the trade happened, is that he's extremely out of shape. He's overweight, which I don't really care if he's going to score 40 for you a game, but that he's just not in the right, I guess, training mindset. Maybe a little lazy. People made it sound like that on the leaks. And I'm very intrigued with him going to LA, because in my mind, when I think of LA, I think of the weird West Coast health movement. When Anna lived there, it was crazy. You'd go down there, and it just seemed like hidden among, well, not even hidden, but in among all of the craziness that is Los Angeles, there was always this movement of everywhere we went. It seemed like there was more healthy options than anything on every menu, because everyone wants to be in beach body shape in LA. It matters what you look like in LA. And I'm interested in that part of this move. I'm interested in how a move from Dallas to LA, a move to a city, could affect Luka Doncic. This kind of stuff fascinates me, because I think he's going to lose weight. I think he's going to be in great shape. I also think his star rises dramatically in LA. You are very famous in Dallas. Dallas is a big city. It's nowhere near LA. You are now with the stars, okay? And the light is so much brighter on you. You are on one of the all-time hugest sports entities, the Lakers. I'm very interested to see what happens to Luka even in the next 3 years. Physically, stardom-wise, and just how he kind of carries himself. This is fascinating to me. Shout out to the Lakers, by the way, for just continually getting these kind of big-time players and putting them in the spotlight. Magic Johnson, I mean, before that, what was it? Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Kobe, Shaq, LeBron, even Anthony Davis to a bit. But, I mean, especially Kobe, LeBron, Magic, those kind of guys back to back to back, now into Luka. They always have one of the biggest superstars on their team, which is crazy. But I'm excited to focus on what is Luka going to be like in LA. How is the LA lifestyle going to affect Luka Doncic? I think it affects him positively. And I love LeBron, and I think there's a cool opportunity for Luka to go into LA. For me, this signifies the end of LeBron in LA. I don't think that's a surprise. That's not a hot take. But LA knew the end of the LeBron era is coming. So you have to make a move to who's going to be the next LeBron. You don't want to just stumble and stutter in LA. You don't want to just disappear and try to meal piece things together like the Blazers do. You need to have a big name in LA to work around. And so I think they knew the end of LeBron was coming. They had a chance at a superstar. You just go get him. You go get him. You don't care about how that affects your team in the exact moment. You have to have him because the LeBron time is coming to an end. So smart move by LA in terms of that part of the game, the business part of the game, keeping butts in seats. Will it be weird watching LeBron and Luka try to work together? Yeah. But for Luka, what an opportunity. Because LeBron is somebody who, in terms of how he deals with his body and how he approaches the game, he's very serious about it. The dude works out a lot. The dude is always in great shape. The dude has been very durable. I already hear the John Tylers from my work saying like, well, it's all steroidated. Whatever it is, LeBron's doing it, and he is at least has a chance now, if Luka is open to it, to affect this guy. And for a basketball fan like me, I want someone like Luka to stay durable for a long time. I want his career to be enormous. That's better for us as fans. It's better for a basketball fan to have an elite level player, a once-a-generation player playing at all times. We want that. We need that. And so I think this is a cool time for Luka over the next couple months. Who knows what happens with LeBron next year? But he's going to be in LA for the next, the rest of the season. And so here in February, March, April, May, I'm assuming they make the playoffs. So, potentially into June, Luka's got a chance to be around a guy who has done it at the highest level for the longest amount of time. And I've got to imagine that there's part of LeBron who's dad LeBron, who is coach LeBron, who's going to want to instill stuff in Luka, not only because I think that's how LeBron is. I don't think LeBron's dumb. I think LeBron's a legacy guy. And so I think that LeBron is going to want to make sure, like when you think Luka, if LeBron stays next year with Luka, LeBron's going to want to be attached to that stardom. So if Luka propels himself to, the highest of heights like LeBron did, we're all going to remember when Luka learned from LeBron. And LeBron's going to have his fingerprint on the Luka trajectory. I think LeBron's not dumb. He's a legacy guy. Like I said, I think that's going to happen. I'm so intrigued with this trade. I'm so excited to watch it happen. Oh my gosh, I'm hyped on it. I think it's going to be great for the NBA. And I'm excited to see the aspect of how will Los Angeles affect Luka. Okay, I got to go. The day is starting here at the Widmer House. I wanted to get a podcast up. Thanks for listening.